Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Spidey64 back here again with another NASCAR race review. What I got for you today, and that is my review of the 2019 Food City 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. The race happened just this past Sunday, and overall, I would have to say, in a nutshell, if you just want my overall thoughts, just in one sentence, this race was incredible. It had everything you wanted in a short track race. It had everything I wanted in a NASCAR race. So, yeah, just with that being said, let's just go over some of the storylines that happened throughout the race. So, first storyline was Hendrick Motorsports swept the front row yet again with Chase Elliott on the pole, which I was very excited about because as a Chase Elliott supporter and a fan, I knew he was in a good position, maybe to win the race or to get good points, stage points throughout the whole entire event. But we'll talk about that later when it comes on, when that comes around. So in the first stage, barely on lap number 2, just like the fall race and the one from last year, we have an early crash, and that is actually between William Byron and Eric Almirola. William Byron did not get a good start. He went up into Almirola. That created a domino effect, and Kyle Busch got jacked in the back bumper by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Kyle Busch had damage to his rear bumper. And guys, when I was watching this race, I had it was seriously deja vu. Like in the fall race, Kyle Busch has damage and stuff like that. So yeah, from the front bumper and such. And another part of the race that also happened was this was ultimately what I think turned Chase Elliott's day into a tough one, and that is throughout the whole entire race, Chase Elliott was dealing with power steering issues, and that is because something happened. Ryan Preece, who had a tire rub, spun around, and then Chase Elliott got nailed by Corey LaJoie, and ultimately that sort of created the power steering issues, because afterwards Chase Elliott said that the steering's off to the right, and ultimately he lost the lead at that point, and he no longer led any laps. And in the middle part of the race, his car seems to really kind of go away, it seems like. But really the fight was between, I think the fastest car all day has to be between both Ryan Blaney and Clint Bowyer. So both Ryan Blaney and Clint Bowyer, I would have to say, had very solid days. And honestly, I mean, when is it going to take for Blaney to get a win? I mean, he's just been strong throughout these past few weeks. I mean, is it just this effect where he just gets a lucky win or something like that? And stuff like that, which we know that happened last year at the Roval. But, yeah, then there was a late caution. I forgot what it was. I believe maybe it was for Daniel Hemrick. I know he hit the wall somewhere. That put out a caution. A couple guys stayed out, including Ty Dillon. And Ty Dillon won stage 1. He fought Clint Bowyer for the lead, and that was great racing right there. I mean, for any of you who hate stage racing, I mean, I don't really like it too, but I think that's the great part of stage racing, because you obviously get close, exciting finishes, and for once, Ty Dillon wins something in a while. I mean, the last time he won something was, get this, his only Xfinity Series win, and you want to know where that was? That was in Indianapolis. So, I mean, 2014, by the way. So, yeah, Ty Dillon wins something, and then, actually, in the early parts of the race, he was actually in the top 10 at one point, and in the top 11. So was his older brother, Austin Dillon, who was in the Simnacor Chevy that weekend. And then afterwards, we had it was a fight between the Team Penske boys of Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. were up there at one point, but Martin Truex Jr., he had an issue or something like that. I thought maybe a blown tire or something like that, but basically that sort of screwed up his race, and Yano Nurse Toyota had to come in and pit. And then ultimately, Joey Logano won the second stage. The third stage was pretty fantastic as well. Now, this is really the point where the moment of the race where everything kind of changed. It really did seem like guys like Clint Bowyer or Joey Logano could go out there and win it. But Kyle Larson and William Byron got into it one another. Also, by the way, Kyle Larson ran pretty poorly in this race, which, yeah, that's not good for the Larson fans. I know it's not good for, a lot of you, but I know there was a crash between him and Byron. No. I think there was a point in the race where he hit the wall, and then that ultimately reset everything. Because I knew on the final restart, it was Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, and Kurt Busch that all stayed out. And Kyle Busch was able to get the advantage, and it looked like throughout the day, Kyle Busch had the short run speed car. And by the way, he did this also, by the way, he freaking won this race with a destroyed back bumper. Okay? That's going to be a pretty interesting Lionel diecast. Okay, here's the deal. If Lionel does not make a diecast of that car, if they do not make it or they don't add the damage, I don't recommend you guys buy it, because that was the only time where a Skittles car actually looked like a pretty good race car, like race version for a diecast. And ultimately, in the end, I really did think Kurt Busch was probably gonna, get around Kyle, but that was not enough. And Kyle Busch wins his third race of the season, and it came at Bristol, and he ties Lee Petty for all-time wins. And so and Kurt Busch finished second into the race. I have to say one thing. Kurt Busch has taken that number one car that Jamie McMurray ran that looked like another piece of crap, and he's turning it into a championship or into a race-winning car. I won't say championship car yet. I'm thinking he can be an upset for the championship. That's really what I'm thinking, considering with this playoff system. You know what it can do. You know what it can do. Plus, also, hey, Kurt Busch, is it fit now for Kurt Busch to drive Chevrolets and Fords? I'm not so sure. But, yeah, so Kurt Busch just had a really, really good run at the end there. Just really wish he could have gotten the win, but it always has to be Kyle Busch that, everyone, like one of the commentators said on Fox, that Kyle Busch pretty much ruins everything. So, that's it. That was all the events that happened in the race. And so overall, this race as a whole, in Bristol standards, once again, for the second year in a row, this has to be the best race of the season so far. And last year, I rated the Bristol Spring Race last year as one of the best races of the year. But yeah, this race was fantastic in my opinion. It had everything. I wanted it because one, had everything what I wanted it. Close battles for the leads, drivers driving their asses off, and also, by the way, I have to give props to Chase Elliott. He drove that car with no power steering throughout the whole entire race. They almost were going to get another driver to get there. And by the way, Justin Allgaier was probably not at the track, considering one, he also had a pretty bad Xfinity race and stuff. But really, when it comes to the Bristol Spring Race, this race as a whole, we know the attendance, it wasn't really good. And some of the pictures that you're seeing, I know, for example, which the grandstands, turns 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 were closed out just to make the front stretch looks like it had more people, but it even looked like it did, which, I really, really do not want the Bristol Spring Race to go. I really do feel like we should have 2 races at Bristol because I just love Bristol. I love it, okay? So, I really do wish we could have another spring. I wish we could keep the spring one. We need to put out a different date. We need to figure out a different date. And, it could be literally be impossible considering one that Tennessee is just... It rains there almost 24/7, and it's just, ridiculous. But, overall, I would give this race a solid 10 out of 10. I thought the race was just great. It had everything I wanted in a NASCAR race at Bristol. But, guys, I'm not so sure. I'm thinking that, I'm really thinking that the Bristol Fall race, that's going to be probably the best race of the season, I'm thinking. or unless Richmond provides something or something like that. But one thing's for sure, Talladega is not going to provide anything. Shitty aero package. But if tandem drafting actually is used at Talladega, then maybe, okay? Well, that's for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below what you thought of the race. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.